about that Chad Betland truck in there?
Yeah, come on.
I see you easing out of that Wildwood Truck Show. How was the show for you?
That was a blast. Always wanted to get down here for it. Finally made it this year. Fun time. Met a lot more cool people. Met a lot of people I have friends with on Facebook and stuff like that.
Nice. Did you walk away with any goodies there?
Yes, I did. I was in 2009, just the wash and part combo, and I took first place.
Not a bad deal.
It's always good to come home with hardware.
Well, some of the folks out there that don't know about your ride, give us a top to bottom, your front to back review of what you're running there.
It's an 07 W9 Kenworth. I bought it a little over 2 years ago. Stripped everything else off of it, sandblasted, repaint, full color change on the frame. Did a Jones Performance hood on it. WTI fenders. It's 324 wheelbase, running a 2050 18-speed Eaton tranny, 336 rears. Got Dynaflex stacks on it. A new visor, RLK visor I just put on it. It's got Bostrom wide ride seats in it. A TL Woods custom built headache rack on the back. Wheel creation, chrome plated wheels I run on it, which is a lifesaver living up where I live. Living up in the Midwest and stuff, and the garbage they put on these roads nowadays, it pretty much destroys anything and everything. I polished all my life. I'm sick of doing that.
10-4.
Done a lot of the work myself. A friend of mine, Harold Leeser, with Leeser Painting, he did most of my paint work and everything for the frame and the sandblasting and my hood and all the intricate stuff. Dash panels and visor, all the airbrushing, I do all that stuff myself. It's all airbagged up front. I build all that myself. I try to do everything I can myself, really.
Well, that's not a bad deal. A lot of guys try to do that. It makes you a little prouder when people come up and notice what you've done with some things, and you know that you've put your own touch on it.
Yes, it does. I mean, anybody can buy a new truck and have somebody else do everything, but I feel better being able to do it myself. Steve with Road Skins, he wrapped the tanks and the steps, and him and Lucy, they're great people. They kind of a good, kind of a bad thing to be living as close as I do to him, because he's right in the same town, about 3 miles from me. But it works out really good. And I go over there and hang out with them a lot over there. My neighbor Brian, he's helped me out with some stuff on here, putting the fenders on the back, and now that I finally built my own shop, I can really get into doing a lot more stuff myself.
I got to see the progress of your shop there too, so yeah, that's one heck of a place you got there, where you can just slide the truck in and get some things done and roll out when it's time to carry some loads.
Yeah, it does, and living in Minnesota, it definitely made this winter a lot better. Winter sucks, but it's a lot nicer when you can roll home and work in a nice 60, 70 degree shop all weekend long, or as long as you're home.
10-4.
Taken me 17 years, and I finally got it and got it built, and now it's time to enjoy it.
Now, what kind of wagon you got there behind you?
It's a company wagon. It's a 2014 Rittenhour 48-foot drop miser.
What do you find yourself normally hauling there?
Oh, we do a lot of stuff for Cummins generators up there out of Fridley, Minnesota. Do a lot for GE Osmonics and hauling RO systems and everything, water treatment plants. Lately, I've gotten in on a lot of NASA stuff for Lockheed Martin. I've done a lot of work for hauling pieces and parts that are all on the Orion project right now. The space shuttle rocket shuttle that they just did a test run on here a few months ago. I have a lot of parts on there that I've hauled. Done a lot of hauling of stuff back and forth to Cape Canaveral while they shipped all the space shuttles to all these museums and stuff. Good times. Learned a lot. Got to see a lot of stuff. Usually they give you a cool tour of all the stuff in these museums, and it's kind of the best part about the job.
It seems like you may not have too many boring loads.
I do. I mean, probably a good 60-80% of my stuff is oversized, long, wide, about 50-55 company and owner-operators. We run everything from step decks, flatbeds, extendables, RGN, double drops, 9, axles, we got perimeters, big into the heavy haul, you know, that side of it. I don't get into much of that though.
10-4. That's a great combination to have there. Again, that keeps your loads versatile.
I stay busy. There's a little bit of slow times here and there, but you know, it's good. I like to be home when I can be.
Now, how did you find yourself in trucking, and how long have you been trucking for?
I've always had a love for trucks. I was always fascinated by them, and once I was old enough to start driving, I did, and just had an old timer that taught me how to drive. Basically just driving around an industrial park, and would make me sit there with a truck and trailer and drive around that industrial park and back up. He'd make me back up pretty much the whole damn place. Keep that trailer on a fog line or whatever, and backing up and pulling in and parking in spots. And then eventually I worked for a company, a couple of different companies, and then I bought my own truck in like about 99, bought my first 85 359. Pretty much did everything possible I could do to that. Lowered it, stretched it out to 302, had it all unit built. Had that for about 6 years. Then I got rid of that, bought my black W9. I had that for about 10 years and enjoyed the heck out of that and building it and changing things up on it. I've been driving about 17 years or so.
Well, 10-4. It sounds like you've had a real enjoyable career so far, and getting taught by, as you say, an old timer. I'm sure that method was a method that stuck with you for a long time, or probably is still. Those lessons are probably still sticking with you to this day.
Yeah, they do. You know, that's kind of the difference with back then, which isn't even that far back then, but 17 years to today, and how these guys are trained out here. I don't agree with it. You know, it's kind of probably the reason why there's a lot of accidents and all this other kind of stuff. And when you have a guy that's been driving for 2 months and he gets turned over to be a trainer, you know, I don't agree with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, 10-4. I'm sure that's a slippery slope that we can go down there and probably not find much good at the end of that slope. Going back to learning the right way, if any guy can get themselves into a situation where they got someone that can be hands-on with them and teach them those tricks of the industry and tricks of the trade, then you know, more power to them. You know,
I tell you, it paid off, especially when you're running a long wheelbase truck. And I might have a long truck and everything, but I put her into some pretty messed up areas that a lot of people would never think I could get into. Yeah, I've done a little bit of everything. You know, I used to haul spancrete and precast panels and stuff like that for these buildings and parking ramps, and I went and pulled that down for a few years, and then back to flatbed, and then I did a little bit of tanker work, pulling tanker. I always came back to doing the flatbed work, and never pulled a van or a reefer. Don't intend on it ever either.
10-4. Now, if somebody says wants to go from a van or a reefer and to get into flatbed and whatnot, what would be the tips that you'd want to give them in order to, you know, help them along the way if needed?
Well, you're going to be doing a lot more work than swinging 2 doors open, that's for sure. You know, chaining, learning how to properly tie down your stuff, and either chaining or you're strapping, and you know, you're going to be throwing tarps, you know, depending on what kind of freight and stuff you're going to haul. You know, stuff that we haul, we carry big tarps and everything, lots of padding, you know, 28 by 28, you know, 10-foot, 11-foot drop tarps. And you want to be good at it, or at least try to get good at it, because you don't want to be the guy going down the road with your tarps waving at everybody in the wind.
Yeah, 10-4. So, Chad, what do you got for lights there?
Just running United Pacific, like my clearance lights, air cleaner panel lights and stuff, and then everything under the cabin sleeper. It's LED rope lighting that I buy on a reel, and you just can run it pretty much as long as you want to run it. Yeah, everything else is United Pacific lighting. Back of the headache rack, back of the T-bar, T-bumper in the back there. That's all United Pacific.
You know, lots of folks like to know the number of lights. What do you think you got for lights as a total?
Well, I don't have a whole lot. I mean, if you want to go by what's on one of those reels that I run, like on the cabin sleeper panels right there on each side, there's about 600 diodes on each side. And then, you know, the one on each air cleaner, down on the bumper, pass a headache rack, and there's 4 on the back of the T-bar. So I got a few. It's not individual like when it comes down to the strips that are underneath the cabin sleeper. But yeah, those reels are 600 on a reel. So there's 1,200 there for diodes per side on each for both sides.
10-4. Well, that's cool. It does look good lit up at night, so I got to give you that.
Appreciate it.
You know, going the places that you've gone and running the things that you've run, if you had to tell a motorist and kind of share with the motorist something about being safe on the road, what would you want to say to them?
Just give us our room. You know, when you're passing us and stuff, there's no, you know, when there's nobody else out here on the road, there's no reason that you got to get over back in front of us so quick, you know, and cutting us off, and learn how to use a turn signal and stuff. Everybody's always in such a rush. You know, you get people that are behind you and they're in such a rush, they got to pass you, and then 100 feet up they take the exit ramp. It's like, you know, oh, what was the rush? You know, is that 30 seconds really going to kill you for the day to sit behind the truck instead of cutting us off? And, you know, just give us our room out here. You know, you think we can stop on a dime, and we can't. You know, it takes acreage for us to stop something like this. You know, and running oversized and stuff like that. Don't sit and hang alongside a truck. Period, really. But even with oversized, you know, pass us, get away from us. We don't want you hanging around us just for the safety fact. You know, we're out here trying to pay attention to everything. You don't need to sit there and hang alongside the truck. Just, you know, either go by or stay back, or, you know, one of the two. I hear it on a lot of the interviews you've done, and yeah, it is pretty much the same thing, but it's a big thing. You know, getting cut off all the time, and, you know, people get pissed at you, and they come fly around you, and then they think it's funny to brake check you. It's like, you know, I don't know what you're thinking, but your little couple thousand-pound car really isn't going to stand a chance. And if something goes wrong, and you're being upset because you got stuck behind a big truck, and now you're going to brake check me, and I can't stop instantly, and it's not going to probably go good for you. You know, in the long run. And, you know, and I see it a lot even now too, is with the patrol cars are the same way. I don't know, they're supposed to be a role model and stuff out here, and they're no better than the rest of them out here. They think they're above the law, they can speed past everybody with no lights on, and they cut you off, and they don't use their turn signals and stuff, and it's like, you're supposed to be a role model out here. Try acting like one.
Yeah, 10-4. I almost said for sure. Yeah, I agree. It's there's some things you mentioned about the brake checking. There's been some videos that have been shared around on social media that shows the unsuccessful attempts at squeezing in between the big trucks and whatnot. Again, it doesn't turn out too well. So hopefully people will take a look at those things and learn from the people that made those mistakes.
Exactly.
There's a law in Florida that's called the move over law, and I'm sure this law may be in effect in some other states. I'm not sure which states those are, but more than likely if Florida has it, the other states have it. What are your thoughts on what you've seen?
I agree with it. I know I try to move over whenever I possibly can, you know, and I have a lot of people that they'll get pissed at you, you know, say we got 3 lanes right here, and I want to get over into this middle lane because there's something up here on the right, and you've got room in that next lane over, that far third lane, and I might push you over a little bit, you know, and then I'm the one that gets the finger, and I'm just trying to be courteous to this person over here on the shoulder, you know. I've been in the situation on the side of the road, and people have had the room to move over, but they don't. It's just like, it comes right back again to common sense. You know, I mean, a law or not, I always try to move over for people. You know, just because I wouldn't want to be in that situation either.
Yeah, it's a whole lot different when you're on the side of the road having to work on something. If something unfortunately breaks on your truck, or if you're a personal vehicle or something like that, and sometimes there's not a shoulder, to get off onto, or grass to get off onto, and it's not a nice thought to think about someone who may not be paying attention when they're coming by there.
I've been in that situation, and it ain't fun. It's just, you know, law or not, it's, you know, common sense. Move over, give somebody the room over there on the shoulder that's working or trying to repair a truck, or an officer on the side of the road, kind of like what we got coming up right now.
10-4. Well, Chad, you know, one of the things that I wanted to thank you for is that there was that video that we're able to do there, the one called How Does a Way Station Work? You were kind enough to film some of that footage and get some key shots for that video that really helped out well. So I want to thank you for that. Lots of folks really enjoyed that video. So thanks again for taking a minute to get your cameras out.
Yeah, it was fun. I love doing stuff like that. I love taking photos and doing video and whatever I can possibly do.
It's been a pleasure running along with you after leaving the Wildwood show. It's nice to see all the other truckers there getting together. Their truck shows are just like a family reunion, and a lot of people feel that way about them. So it was nice to get to see you, and hopefully we'll see you again this year.
Oh yeah, you know we will. Be out and about. Hopefully maybe I'll get out there to California, or I'll probably get down to Joplin at least this year, I hope.
All right, Chad, will you be safe, and we'll see you soon.
All right.